I normally ask people 4 questions.
Okay.
Cool for that?
Yeah.
What's your name, by the way?
My name is Aidan.
Aidan, I'm Clif. Pleased to meet you, brother. So, what do you think of animals, first of all?
I'm fond of them. They're an important part of the ecosystem and quite friendly.
Okay, I agree. What do you think of animal abuse or people who abuse animals?
I don't think it's a tolerable action. I think the people that abuse animals probably be locked up. They've got some issues.
Okay, I agree. Third question is, how would you qualify abuse, or how would you describe it?
Animal abuse can be anything. I think if you have a dog and don't walk it, that's animal abuse. So there's definitely levels to it.
Okay, I agree. So, and it's not just physical too, it can be mental harm as well. So for me it's like physical or mental harm, especially when it's not necessary. That would be my definition of abuse. So, fourth question's an easy question for me to ask. It's going to be a tricky one maybe for you to answer. No judgment with it, but it's the reason I'm here. So, the animals that we enslave and then send into slaughterhouses to be shot in the head, gassed, electrocuted, have their throats cut. What about those animals?
Are you asking, is it a form of abuse?
Yes, of course it's abuse.
Yeah.
Of course it's abuse. If you think not walking a dog's bad, well, why is it okay to hang a pig upside down and cut their throat?
Yeah, I don't think most people are aware of like what happens there.
I agree.
I think I always say like, if you want to eat meat, you should have to kill a chicken or something. Like if you want to actually benefit from killing an animal, you should know how it feels to kill one. We're just given stuff on a shelf and told that there's meat, but no one sees the process behind it. It's kind of hidden. So yeah, it is animal abuse. Do I eat burgers? Yes.
Man, I used to eat them too. I used to eat them too.
Yeah.
I normally ask people 4 questions. You up for that or no?
Well, you can always...
Of course, I'll not use it if you don't want me to. So, I'm here for a specific reason, but I'll ask you the 4 questions that I always ask. So the first one would be, well, what's your name first of all?
Eve.
Eve, pleased to meet you, I'm Clif. So, tell me what you think of animals.
I love animals. Love animals.
Me too, I agree. I've always loved them since I was a small child, probably the same as you.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think of animal abuse or people who abuse animals?
Absolutely, they should be jailed. But I went to a thing at the courts in Belfast a few years ago, and it was about the same thing, animal abuse. And they'd all speakers there, and it quite a good crowd. And a vet got up and spoke, and she said that the maximum prison sentence was 5 years, I think. But she says it's never, ever happened.
The animal cruelty laws in this country are absolutely tragic.
Disgusting.
So tell me what you would qualify or how you would describe abuse. How would you abuse an animal? In what ways?
Oh, they can abuse an animal by not feeding it. If it's sick, they're not interested, they're left outside. They kick them, they think they can do what they like with them. And as for badger baiting, well...
I agree with you. I agree. All those things are absolutely terrible. I'm interested, before I ask you the final question, your accent, you're Scottish, yeah?
Scottish.
Dundee or somewhere like that?
No, up beside, between Inverness and Aberdeen.
Okay, so I had relations up there. 1 wee second. Excuse me, buddy. I'm just filming there, if you wouldn't mind. Just one. Thank you very much. I had friends in family in Carnoustie a long time ago, but they're dead now, unfortunately. So last question, right? This is the hard one. It's a tricky question to answer. It's an easy question for me to ask, but I want you to think about this in a way perhaps you've never thought before. I'm not trying to catch you out. What about the animals that we send into slaughterhouses? The ones that we gas and electrocute, we shoot them in the head, we cut their throats.
Now, I have seen this, and I have seen pigs go into the slaughterhouse. My granddaughter showed me these films. It's a pity she wasn't here today. And the men in the slaughterhouse thought it was great fun to put their cigarettes onto the pig. Pigs are alive, still alive, and this is the sort of thing to do to any animals.
But let me tell you this. So, I live in Ballymena, about 2 miles from a pig slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Right? So what you're talking about is what we generally consider to be abuse. People being bad to animals, burning them, kicking them, hitting them, stuff like that. But I want to talk about the standard practice that we're taught not to think about. So do you know how we dispose of those pigs when they go into that slaughterhouse? What happens to them?
Oh, I don't know what to do to them. Slit the throat, probably.
Well, they do slit their throats to let them bleed out, but before that we put them in gas chambers.
Oh.
What do you think of that?
Okay. It's awful. It's just awful.
Yeah. I mean, I was never comfortable with it. Obviously, on a slaughterhouse or in farms, things happen that are not cool.
Yeah.
But you're not. All the imagery you see around you and all the adverts and TV you see are always happy animals and happy cows and happy eggs and all that
Free-range
bullshit.
chickens, they're still electrocuted probably.
Of course. And like you were saying, if you do it yourself, well, yeah, I kind of agree with you. But at the end of the day, it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And you can just eat plant-based, and you can buy products that are not tested on animals.
But I also don't think if everyone on Earth went to a plant-based diet that it would be sustainable straight away. So
well, I get you, that's an opinion, but there was a study done like 3 years ago. Joseph Poor, Oxford University study. He studied something like 2,000 farms all around the world in all different places, and the conclusion was that if everybody ate a plant-based diet, we would have enough food to feed the planet like twice over, and be able to use 70% less
I know
ground.
like the animal farms as well take a lot of resources.
Of course.
Like feeding cows to slaughter is probably more than you need over.
Exactly. It's something like 12 kilograms of grain to get 1 kilogram of beef. I think that's the equation. I mean, we're killing somewhere around 90 billion land animals every year.
Yeah.
How many human animals are there on the planet?
How many human animals?
Yeah, humans.
1, I think.
There's 8 billion.
Oh, 8 billion, okay.
So we have to feed all those animals to get a really poor return. So this, I know you don't know this, and I'm not saying you were being facetious or anything like that, but the science shows that if everybody did eat plant-based, that there would be a much less drain on resources than there is now, and we can use much less ground, and we could return the countryside to what it should be, rewild it. So that's why I'm here. I'm trying to reframe what we consider to be abuse, because kicking a dog's terrible, fox hunting's terrible, right?
Yes, absolutely disgusting.
Bullfighting's horrible.
Yeah.
Right? All the badger baiting you mentioned.
Yeah.
I seen a thing on TV many years ago about 2 guys badger baiting, and they had a terrier man. Absolutely sadistic, right? But the things that we're taught that have to happen, which they don't, in slaughterhouses and in farms, are also equally cruel. We've just been taught to think they're okay.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you? So that's why I'm asking here. I'm asking people to not pay these industries to throw pigs into gas chambers, to not pay people to hang cows upside down and stab them in the throat and let them bleed out, when you can just eat plants or vegan products instead.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we don't think about those animals and say, well, I can just eat or wear something else. Why would I pay for that? And I'm not judging you, because I paid for it. I'm an animal lover, and I know you have a good heart for animals from talking to you right from the start, and you're the type of person I want to talk to. So if you love animals, why would you pay somebody else to do something to animals? Because when you go into a shop, right, you buy a product, supply and demand. When you buy that product, you're literally paying people to harm animals in a way that you would never do it yourself. That's what I'm asking people to consider. Have you ever thought of that before?
Oh, all the time. My granddaughter at me all the time. She's vegan.
And I'm vegan too. I'm a vegan and an animal rights activist. So.
And she'd say to me, now, Grandma, come on, you have to do this and you should be doing that. And I understand all that as well.
What would hold you back from not paying for those things if you're not already vegan? And again, I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm just wondering your mindset of what...
Well, another thing I'm going to ask you about race horses. You know, men are always backing horse. Well, I'm
against that too.
Horse racing. What happens to these horses when they can't run anymore? They're not.
Well, what do you think happens to them?
Well, I heard about it. They just disbanded. They just sent to slaughterhouse, and there's no need for that.
Most of them bring in what they call a knacker man, which is a guy who's trained to use a gun properly, and they just shoot them. Some of them go for food, believe it or not, as well. Some of them go across the continent. I believe even go to France.
Yes. Yeah.
So absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
But again, so when you're young, you're taught, here's the arbitrary line you're taught to care about dogs and horses and dolphins, and if somebody shoots a lion or shoots a gorilla, you're supposed to get upset. Fox hunting's bad, bullfighting's bad.
Yeah.
But cows and sheep and pigs and chickens were taught they're food animals or for clothing, and what happens to them, you don't think about it. Don't think about it at all. That's the difference.
Well-
but to those individual animals, do you think a cow feels any different about being shot in the head and their throat cut than a horse does or a dog would?
Not at all.
Of course not.
It's not.
Do you think that the fact that humans killed animals at one point shows that it's in our nature to eat animals?
Not really,
So
because
if it's a thing by nature, then it's going to happen anyway.
I think at some point it was probably done for survival, and if you had to eat an animal to survive, I wouldn't be standing here right
Yeah.
now. You know, so
Right,
what we
we
did in
don't
the
need
past,
to,
you know, we had slaves in the past and women weren't allowed to vote in the past. What we did in the past does not reflect what we do now. We can move forward morally, and if you don't have to enslave animals and exploit them and kill them, completely on that. Man, I haven't eaten an animal product since I was 19, right? I'm 57. So I am living proof that you can survive and thrive on a plant-based diet.
I was pescatarian for a year,
Yeah.
and then veggie for a year after I watched Seaspiracy.
Yeah,
Then I went-
Seaspiracy, yeah.
And then I went to South America, and like meat is just part of the culture there. And like if you're not going to eat meat,
know.
you're going to eat just rice and beans. So I just started eating meat again, just
Yeah.
because if you ask for soup without meat there, they give you chicken soup. You know what I mean?
I know. I've been to Spain, man, and if you ask for salad, they'll give you like fish and stuff in it. I had to tell a guy one time no pescado, and he still put tuna fish in it. So I get that, but I guess the difference for me is I'm an animal rights activist, so I go into farms. I've been in slaughterhouses. I've done vigils at them, and I've seen what the animals have to go through.
Yeah, it's probably horrible.
So I genuinely care about animals, and I know you do too, and I'm just asking people to have that moment of thought or clarity that I don't want to pay for that anymore. Why would I pay? Let me give you an example. Do you know how cruel the dairy industry is? So I can tell you in 30 seconds. People think dairy milk's... Cows just produce milk, right? Do you know how it works? It actually works in the dairy industry. Do you have any idea?
Go
Or
on.
could I tell you? Right, so cows are mammals, like humans. When's the only time a human mammal produces milk?
A human cow?
A human. When would you produce milk?
Oh, if you have a baby.
Yeah. Exactly the same for cows. So cows are not producing milk for humans, they're producing milk for babies. So the farmers artificially impregnate them. They're pregnant 9 months. As soon as those babies are born, the farmers take the calves away from them, which is deeply distressing for the mother cows. Cry for days on end. The baby boys are a waste product. So all the dairy herds you see in the countryside are all female.
No.
What's that? So warm standing in that sun. Just let me take a wee sip. So the boys are disposed of. Many farmers kill them on the day they're born with a gunshot to the head, or will hit them over the head with a spade or a shovel. Waste product. Don't produce milk. They're not good for meat products. I don't want to feed them, so just get rid of them. Some of them they'll keep on the farm until they're 10 or 14 days old, and then they go to market. They go to market and they're sold, and they go straight across the road into a slaughterhouse where somebody will hang them upside down and cut their throat at 10 or 14 days old, wee baby calves. Terrible. So the boys are a waste product, and the female cows can live to 25 or 30 years old. They'll be made pregnant 5 or 6 times in their short lifetime. Made pregnant, child abducted, taken away from them, and milked every day for their entire life until they're about 5 or 6 days old, at which point their milk production declines. And guess what happens to them when they're not making enough money for the farmer anymore?
The shop.
Off to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
So exploited every single day of their life, and having their baby being forcibly made pregnant, having their children taken away from them. It's just a life. It's disgusting. And people just think cows produce milk and humans have to drink milk. And when you think about it, if I told you to drink a donkey's milk or a horse milk, you think it was crazy, right?
What about apple milk?
Alpro. Oh, any plant-based milk. Have you ever tried them?
I haven't. That's what I use now.
Good for you. Yes. You can go
And
into
butter.
plant-based butter as well.
Yes.
Great. I'm so glad to hear it.
And I was brought up in a farm, a dairy farm.
Well, let me tell you one thing we
Yeah.
do to animals in this country. So pigs, we kill about 21,000 pigs a week in Northern Ireland.
That's mad.
Yeah. So there's 2 main slaughterhouses, one in Ballymena and one in Cookstown. Do you know what we do to them when they get there?
When they get there,
Yeah. What do they do
slit
to
their
the
throats
pigs?
or electrocute them or something.
Put them in gas chambers, man.
Oh, really? That's pretty fucked up.
Well, yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, fucked up. So 3 or 4 at a time are loaded into like a cage and they're dropped down into CO2. So it's basically suffocation.
Yeah,
Man, I've stood there listening to those animals scream.
that's horrible.
It's fucking horrible, man. So I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
And
No, I
that's
respect
why I'm
it.
standing here. I'm not judging you, man, because I used to be in the same boat as you,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I loved animals and I was paying for things I wasn't fully aware of. So I am asking people to abstain.
The chicken thing, chickens outside is awful. We had chickens as well, but our chickens were eating ducks and everything were roaming around everywhere.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is, I get it. I'm not anti-farmer, by the way, because farmers just produce what people buy.
Yes,
Supply and demand. And I need farmers on my side too. And many farmers do really genuinely care about their animals.
Absolutely, their animals are.
But at the point where you send an animal to a slaughterhouse to have their throat
That's
cut,
right.
well then all care goes out the window.
Yeah.
And it's just not necessary. That's my point. You can drink oat milk or soya milk or Alpro, as you said.
yeah.
And you can drink those things instead, and you can eat. I just eat plants. I've eaten plants since I was 19 years old.
My daughter actually did the same thing and lost loads of weight and looked fabulous.
Yeah, well, I don't know what weight she was in the first place, but see, the thing is, it does and can have health benefits because loads of animal products, like saturated
Absolutely.
fat and
Yeah.
cholesterol,
Yeah,
are bad
yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So I'm 57. I feel really healthy. I've eaten plants since I was 19. You know, and my question, I know you probably need to get on your way, but my question to you is, if you can live healthily and thrive on plant-based products and plant-based clothing and cosmetics from Lush or Body Shop or Superdrug that are not tested on animals, well, then why would you not make that choice as an animal
Oh,
lover?
absolutely. I mean, I don't wear makeup that's not, you know, and things like that. I must tell you, when we were little, my dad came home one day with this big sow. We thought it was a pony. And this sow had 16 piglets one night. And she could only feed 14. So the 2 were taken away and into the house, in the living room, a recess, they were put in there and they were brought up there with us feeding them from the bottles.
Do you know one thing that you'll know this then? Pigs are super smart.
Kobe.
Pigs are super smart. People don't realise that, so it almost makes it worse. So I've done vigils at that slaughterhouse. I'm telling you about one of the gas chambers, and you see when the pigs arrive on the trucks at that place, and when they're dropped down into the gas chamber, it's like torture. They're suffocated basically to death, and the screams of those animals, you can hear it from the.
I'm sure, yeah,
It's really
yeah.
terrible. Like, it's distressing for me to listen to that. But you see the ones that are in the trucks arriving and they hear that, they know exactly what's coming to them. They're
Absolutely.
terrified to get off the
But
trucks.
horses would know that as well. You know,
All animals know. Cows are
have no
terrified
fear.
too.
Yeah, absolutely terrified.
So why do we subject animals to that when we can just eat or wear something else? That's. Can I give you a wee card if you don't mind? If you truly love animals and you don't want to cause unnecessary harm to others, why the hell would you pay people? You know, when you go in a shop and buy pork, you're literally paying people to throw animals in the gas chambers and hang them upside down and cut their throats. I'm not cool with that.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
I
I will
appreciate
definitely
you, man.
have a think about it.
Can I
now,
give you a wee
so,
card before you go? I'll take
Pardon?
Can I give you a card?
Yeah, sure.
Man, I'm not here trying to catch people out. I'm
No,
genuinely
it's alright. I
not.
think you're doing a good thing. It's
I'm
about
genuinely
awareness.
trying to raise awareness and ask people that care about animals, please don't pay for that stuff, man, because it's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool, and they don't deserve it, you know, they're innocent animals. So I'm going to ask you to watch one thing. Best speech you'll ever hear on
Okay.
YouTube, free to watch. It's about 30-40
Is that
minutes
you,
long.
Gary Euros?
No, that's me here.
Oh, Clif Grant.
If I've given you something to think about, that guy, I'll drop a few nukes on you for half
Okay.
an hour. All right, brother.
Thank you very much, mate.
Have a good
one.
weekend. All right, dude. Thanks, lads.
day, buddy.
Cheers, man.